Hello everybody. In this video we're going to talk about the September 2021 Visa Bulletin. This is the last Visa Bulletin of the fiscal year 2021. We'll talk about all the movements and what it means for applicants in the family-based categories as well as in the employment-based categories. So what are you waiting for? I will see you on the other side. Hello everybody and welcome back to our immigration channel. This is a place where you get the most up-to-date immigration news, immigration updates, and everything else that you need to make your immigration journey less stressful. My name is Jacob Sapochnick and I'm an immigration attorney located in San Diego, California, and we help clients in all 50 states. And just like every month, we provide you an update on the movement of the Visa Bulletin, and this month we are focusing on September 2021, the last Visa Bulletin of the fiscal year. We'll talk about some solid movement in all employment-based categories, as well as some movement in the family-based categories. We'll talk about that and we'll go through every single chart just like we do every single month. If you are here for the first time, don't forget to subscribe to our channel, click the notification bell so you don't miss any of our videos and our live streams, and also give us a big like so YouTube will be able to show this video to more people just like you. So let's jump right into the Visa Bulletin. As I mentioned before, we've seen definitely some solid movement in all employment-based categories and some movement in the family-based categories. Let's start with USCIS Visa Bulletin. Remember, USCIS updates every month which chart they're going to be using to process adjustment of status applications inside the United States. For September, it's going to be the following. First, if you're an applicant in the F2A category, which are spouses of green card holders and children of green card holders under 21, for those applicants in that category inside the United States, you're going to be following the final action dates chart as indicated in the Visa Bulletin. Remember that the F2A category is current at the moment. For all other family-based categories, the USCIS determined that you have to use the dates for filing chart. So this remains the same as previous month. For applicants in the employment-based categories, if you're applying for adjustment of status inside the United States, USCIS indicated that you're going to have to use the final action date chart for September 2021. So let's start with the employment-based categories and look at the Visa Bulletin at a glance for September 2021. For EB1 categories, all countries will remain current, including China and India. In the EB2 category, China will advance 3 months to July 1st, 2018. India will advance 3 months to September 1st, 2011. All other countries remain current in the September 2021 Visa Bulletin. For EB3 category, for professionals and skilled workers, cutoff dates for China will remain the same at January 8, 2019, while India will advance 6 months to January 1st, 2014. All other countries in this category, EB3, are going to remain current for the September 2021 Visa Bulletin. Finally, looking at the EB5 category, all countries for known regional center programs will remain current except from China. China will advance by 1 week to November 22nd, 2015. The regional center program still remains unauthorized for the moment. We're waiting for it to be reauthorized, and once that happens, the EB5 category for regional center will also become current, just like the non-regional center. So now let's take a look at the actual Visa Bulletin chart. If you take a look at the final action dates chart for September 2021, you can see that EB1 is obviously current for all countries. As I mentioned before, for EB2 category, for China, there's an advancement of 3 months to July 1st, 2018. India advanced 6 months to September 1st, 2011. Another interesting movement, you can see India advance to January 1st, 2014. China doesn't have any change, remains at January 8, 2019 for the EB3 category. EB4 category is current for the rest of the world. Mexico advanced by 1 month to March 1st, 2020, and Central America advanced by 73 days to March 15, 2019. Before we talk about the family sponsor categories, let's touch about immigrant visa numerical limitations. As the fiscal year 2021 comes to an end on September 30th, 2021, the department released the immigrant visa numerical limitations for the fiscal year. Employment-based numerical limit is set at 262,288. By comparison, the fiscal year 2020 employment-based numerical limit was set at 156,253 immigrant visas. The reason we see this increase is because the Immigration and Nationality Act has some guidance with respect to usage and limits on visas for the fiscal year. In addition to that, as I mentioned in previous visas, there's a significant slowdown in family-based immigration since fiscal year 2020 due to the pandemic and closures of embassies and consulates worldwide, limiting the processing of family-based visas, allowing more visas to flow to the employment-based side. And based on the State Department current processing rates, it's very likely that there's going to be a large number of unused immigrant visas this fiscal year. Therefore, there's a couple of lawsuits that were lodged against the State Department to prevent that from happening. And hopefully these lawsuits are going to be successful to prevent the loss of so many immigrant visas in this fiscal year. USCIS also promised that they're going to try to process as many adjustment of status green cards as possible before the end of the fiscal year to prevent the loss of more immigrant visas. State Department predicted that fiscal year 2022, the immigrant visa limit is going to be even higher and will be set at 290,000 employment-based immigrant visas. However, to make use of those extra visas, U.S. embassies and consulates worldwide will need to step up their game and speed up the processing of immigrant visas worldwide. Now let's jump to family-based chart of the September 2021 Visa Bulletin. First of all, we see a very minimal movement in the family-based chart final action dates since the August bulletin was released. In fact, in the dates for filing chart for the family-based categories, there's no movement at all in the F1 category, in the F2A, and the F3 categories as well. In the F2B categories, we see a slight movement in Mexico advancing by about 55 days. And finally, in the F4 category, India advanced by a month and Mexico advanced by 25 days as well. So if you're wondering why is there such a big difference between the rapid movement in the employment-based side versus almost the non-existent movement in the family-based side, there are definitely several factors as following. First of all, USCIS offices inside the United States are still playing catch up from being closed for almost a year in 2020. So that is definitely helping speed up the adjustment of status processing inside the United States, which will help catch up on the imbalance in visa processing. But what's happening on the State Department side? Embassies and consulates are still not working on regular capacity. They're still not taking regular visa processing, and that continues to create a backlog specifically on the family-based side. Last year, there was definitely less demand for family visas because of the inability for certain people to travel, and also some embassies and consulates were not issuing family visas due to some of the travel bans. Now we know that the refusal to issue such visas purely because travel bans was incorrect, and therefore more lawsuits were filed against the State Department to try to rectify the situation. Once again, travel ban means only that people cannot travel from a certain country into the United States. It does not mean that embassies are not allowed to issue visas. And finally, by law, any unused family visas are being moved to the employment-based categories, and therefore we see such a big discrepancy between the two categories. Hopefully in the next fiscal year, we're going to see a faster movement on the family side as more embassies and consulates are starting to catch up on the processing, and will hopefully soon start to process visas on a more regular basis. Of course, once we have more information on that, I promise to update you as well. I promise to keep updating you with any changes that I see, with any information that we learn. We bring it back to you guys on this channel. Once again, I'm reminding you that if you're here for the first time, do not forget to subscribe to our channel, to click the notification bell, and also give us a big like so YouTube will be able to share this video with more people just like you. And as always, if you do need my help, if you need a consultation, if you need help with your case, all you have to do is send us a text message, 619-483-4549. And also there are different and other ways to get in touch with us. The links are in the description of this video if you need immediate assistance. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.